Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream. Carolina Panthers talk, man. This is crazy. What a week it's been for Dan Morgan and the Carolina Panthers. We are live. Let me make sure I send this out on X to make sure everybody can see what we're looking at. What an absolute crazy week. Just it is insanity, the kind of week that we have had. Dan Morgan, go ahead and build him a statue. Like I don't even care. Just go ahead and build my man Dan Morgan a statue. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. All right. Let me do this real quick. Just absolutely insanity. The kind of week. Just absolutely insanity. The kind of week we've had, fam. Just absolutely insanity. All right. So we got that. Ba ba bum ba bum ba bum 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 bum. Man, what a crazy week, everybody. What a crazy week. We're live. We're here. We're live and we're here. Oh, man. All right, we're here. I mean, just an absolute monster of a week for Dan Morgan for this Carolina Panthers team. Edge 1, linebacker 1. What else? Edge 1, linebacker 1, tackle 1. It is absolutely insane what Dan Morgan has done to make this team be what it is. And look, I know that Dan Morgan has been on the job for 2 years. And I know that some people are going to say it's an overreaction. He's the best general manager that this team has had. And I don't really think it's like that much of a competition. I don't think it's too much to say that Dan Morgan is the best general manager that this franchise has ever had. I don't think that's coping. I don't think that's me being a homer because I feel like I shoot it straight to y'all. But like Dan Morgan is just absolutely phenomenal. He is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I mean, he just deserves so much, like just so much credit for I mean, like, I don't know. He is insane. He is insane with what he has done up to this point. So, I mean, just absolutely crazy things. We'll get right to it. If you are on X, come over on YouTube because it won't let me see the comments. Just so y'all know, like it will not allow me to see comments, and so yeah. But like this is just an absolute monster week for Dan Morgan, an absolute monster week for this team. Yeah, just we are not a poverty franchise anymore. That's all I got to say. The Carolina Panthers are not a poverty franchise anymore. They're a phenomenal franchise. They're just a franchise that is seen and regarded as one of the best in the league. Seen and regarded from a free agency perspective, seen and regarded from a draft perspective. I mean, like if you go look at ESPN.com, let's go to ESPN.com and look at what they're saying. So ESPN.com came out with like their best. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Can y'all see this okay? Oh, no, you cannot. But like ESPN.com came out with who they thought the best signings were. And Carolina's right up there. Like Carolina is right up there. The Carolina Panthers are not bowing down to anybody anymore. Like they're just not bowing down to anybody anymore. Um, Once again, Panthers sign offensive tackle Rasheed Walker. So right here, Panthers signed offensive tackle Rasheed Walker. And look at what they say. The price of the steal might be the most shocking of free agency thus far. Walker was widely considered to be the best free agent tackle this year and was expected to receive a large contract. But his market developed very slowly. So he has signed a 1 year deal with a maximum value of $10 million, meaning the base value is below that per NFL Network. For context, my free agency contract model projected a deal averaging $21.8 million annually for Walker. That is insane. That is insane. $21.8 million. Instead, it's a short-term commitment for less than half than that. Dan Morgan. Just it's insane. The Panthers are beneficiaries. Carolina entered this offseason with a possible need at left tackle after Aquanu suffered a patella tendon rupture in the playoffs that put his 2026 season in question. It's also the last year of his contract. The Panthers signed Stone four-sided insurance policy. Man, didn't also like we just reacted very well to that, right? Like there were no overreactions to Stone. Like I'm no overreact. Everybody dealt with that signing very, very well, right? Everybody was real cool with that signing. I just thought it was hilarious how everybody was just losing their absolute mind and thought that Stone was going to be the day one starter and that we were going to have to draft the left. I was like, guys, calm down. Everybody just take a deep breath. I mean, look, I think fans get to have their perspectives. I think everybody gets to deal with this the way they want to deal with it. But to me, the idea that Dan Morgan would roll out with that is wild. What about his track record? What did Dan Morgan do? What did Dan Morgan do when he first became the free agent? He looked at that interior offensive line and said, "We have to go sign Damian Lewis and we have to go sign Robert Hunt." That's what he did. We have to go sign Damian Lewis and we have to go sign Robert Hunt. So like there was nothing to me that said that he was going to be fine. There was nothing to me that said that he was going to be fine rolling out these guys. So like yeah, it is it's just I thought we overreacted a lot to the Stone Forsythe. So the Panthers signed Stone Forsythe as an insurance plan already in free agency, but once Walker's market fell, it seemed like they were adding him was well worth it. Our win rate metrics consider Walker to be a solid player. Last season in Green Bay, he was in the 58th percent among tackles and pass block win rate, though only 27th percentile in run block win rate. He was in the 69th percentile and 48th percentile on those metrics. Given that Dane Moore Jr. received $20.5 million from Tice last year, most myself included thought Walker would walk away with more than that. Perhaps the struggles of Moore contributed to Walker's market being cooler than expected, a theory that ESPN Jeremy Download. Walker was also arrested 2 months ago in LaGuardia Airport, New York, for allegedly trying to check in with a firearm that he had a license for in New York. But either way, teams felt differently about Walker than most thought. Man, oh man. All right, let's see if there's any other Panthers guys here. Oh, it's kind of interesting. Oh, they gave them a D. Hardgrave. Oh, Bradley Chubb. Also, y'all wanted to sign Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb got a huge deal for a guy that to me does not play as well. So I mean, yeah, like I was very fine with that not happening. But yeah, I know that there's familiarity with Evero's system, but I didn't really understand the love that he was getting. I did not understand the love that he was getting in that kind of situation. What else? So B, what other Panthers do we have? B plus. Braden Smith got an A. B minus for Trey Hendrickson. C, where are the other guys? Oh man. B plus, B, B, C, B plus, Cardinals, Raiders, Titans, Raiders, Mike Evans. That was a huge get. Okay, so they're giving the Devin Lloyd signing a B minus, which is interesting. Because I thought that he would get more than a B minus, but they're giving this a B minus. And let's kind of read about it and see what they say. So the Panthers are filling their need at inside linebacker with the top-ranked player at the position. Lloyd is coming off a great season in which he made the Pro Bowl and was second team All-Pro. His run-stop win rate ranked in the 50th percentile, but the real reason he's getting paid is because of the splash plays. 5 interceptions, 7 passes defended, 16 pressures, 1.5 sacks, and 6 tackles for loss. Those are impressive numbers, but I went into free agency thinking I'd be down on Lloyd relative to market. A year ago, the Jaguars declined Lloyd's fifth-year option, which seemed like an important data point. With big plays, he's made a contract year. Second, Lloyd wasn't an every down player. So yeah, I mean, like, we already know this about Lloyd. Lloyd is a playmaker, and that defense wants to be opportunistic. But one of the concerns with Lloyd, I would say, like one of the concerns with Lloyd was that he was not able to play every down. I still think like he was supposed to get 17, 18 million dollars, everybody. He was supposed to get 17 to 18 million dollars. I think that signing is more than okay. I think it's more than fine. I don't think anybody, I think that's fine. NFC South stuff. They're giving David Edwards an A minus. What else? Zion Johnson, John Franklin Myers. Where's the other Panthers guy? There's one more here that I want to check out. They're giving Malik Willis an A. Tyler Linder. God, they signed Tyler to a ginormous deal. Like, they signed Kyler to an absolutely ginormous deal. It's insane how much they signed Tyler. Like, I was shocked by that number for Tyler. But that Raiders offensive line was garbage. I mean, if y'all saw any Genty snaps, he was absolutely terrible. So I understand why they did that. They're going to B plus. B minus to Jalen Phillips. Again, the Panthers needed edge help and decided to pay up to get it. They landed Phillips to improve a unit that ranked 24th in pass win rate and 32nd in run stop win rate last season. Phillips should be an asset in both areas. The former Dolphin and Eagle has never had a double-digit season, but clearly impacted as the edge rusher. Injuries derailed his early career in Miami. A torn Achilles in 2023 and partially torn in 2024 ACL in 2024 set him back, but he was effective. So yeah, like those are. I think I'm a little higher than this stuff. I just think the Rasheed Walker stuff is absolutely crazy, guys. Just absolutely crazy. It's insane. So, yeah, for those of you that are here, well, actually, let me put it here. What was your favorite Carolina Panthers signing? Let me do that. And then I'll put it up on the, I'll make sure to. Yeah, I mean, I just think it is just a really, really good free agency, everything. It's just phenomenal stuff. Phenomenal stuff. Okay. Let's share this. So with Rasheed Walker signed to end a busy week, Panthers create stability. This is from Panthers.com. So that's what we're doing here. When Rasheed Walker walked into Bank of America, he did more than put a signature on a one-year contract. He put the Panthers in a more secure and stable position, one from which they can continue to build. While we're exactly 4 days into the new league year, the Panthers have everything they need, minus a punter. So Walker's addition was significant. He gives them insurance against the condition of an incumbent left tackle who is coming back from the injury against the Rams and whose prognosis for the coming season remains unclear. Though he was walking around without crutches or a brace, we'll know enough well enough to greet new teammate Jalen Phillips the other day, but he also gives them a whole lineup. The Panthers now have a projected starting offensive line that includes 385 starts, that kind of security that Bryce Young will appreciate. So even if you take Aquanu 64 sacks out of the left tackle, and he still could return this year, there's a lot of experience. That includes Walker, the left tackle, 48 starts last 3 seasons. I think the thing that we have to understand about Walker is, and I think it's an important thing, the thing we have to understand about Walker is that he is going to be really, really, really good from a protection standpoint. I think his rushing stuff is like a little more sus to me, but I think from a protection standpoint, I think he's going to be just as good as Icky, if not even better. So, like I think the pass pro is going to be phenomenal. I'm not worried about the pass pro at all. That said, it's a different line than it was. Walker isn't the run blocker Icky is, but he's a comparable pass protector. His PFF passing grade was 70 among 70, overshadowing the fact that lower. But for a team that had 2 major question marks, left tackle and center during the week, yeah. So when you consider the improvements they made on defense this week, the Panthers are in a stable place. The floor has been raised over the last 2 off seasons, and now they've started pushing the ceiling up. Adding a 26-year-old pass rusher and 27-year-old Devin Lloyd, the top young players at the position of free agency this year, gives the Panther playmakers on every side of the defense. They now have Derek Brown, allowing Nick Gordon time to grow after a promising season. I think I've seen multiple people talk about this. I think that the Scorton is going to very much benefit from Phillips a lot. Because what was happening last year is that they did not have a guy. Like, to me, let's be honest, Nick Gordon was a 2nd-round pick. He is still very, very good. I think, to be clear, I think an 8 to 10 sack season for multiple seasons is very much in play for Nick Gordon. But he is not, in my opinion, and I know some people are going to disagree with this. In my opinion, Nick Gordon is not a top 10 edge rusher in this league. Like what I'm saying is he will never be that. And you need a guy like Phillips to be able to do that kind of stuff. And so I think that this is because teams are going to double Phillips, and that is going to create opportunities for the other side of the ball to do different things. So I'm very realistic about Nick Gordon. They now have Derek Brown, Phillips on the outside, allowing Nick Gordon time to grow after a promising rookie season. They have a coverage linebacker in Lloyd to allow Morick to come forward and create mismatches. And the combined effect of all of them pressuring quarterbacks will make cornerback J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson lives easier. This is the most talent and young talent the Panthers put on the field in years. Other than J.J. Jansen, there's not a player on the roster older than 31. That's crazy. I did not know that. Kind of want to tweet that out, to be quite honest. Let me actually, before I forget. So outside of Jansen and Dalton, so yeah, just like that, I think also speaks to how how they've built this thing. They have built this thing the right way with youth, right? Like they have built this thing the right way with youth. 31-year-old Moten is the only projected starter whose average starts with any number other than 2, putting the Panthers in a sweet spot in terms of age and experience. Free agency isn't about eliminating draft needs. It's about opening the door to any possibility. And when you go into the draft with the ability to take the best player on the board, it's best for long-term care. no matter how acute the need in March, it's reasonable to assume general manager won't use the 19th pick on a punter. Morgan's own position is the best illustration of that. He was still on the roster in the draft of John Beeson, so now he can go into the first round and take the best player. Yeah, I mean, that's just phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff. Yeah, just really good. Really good. Yeah, I'm pumped. All right, let's see a little let's talk about a little analysis. Let's see what the peeps are saying in terms of Walker. But yeah, I think like overall it's just very exciting. It's very exciting what the Carolina Panthers are doing, and I'm thrilled. I'm pumped. I think this is, of any team, like literally of any team, this is the best 1-2 punch of like free agent and like with free agency and drafts. This 1-2 punch is phenomenal. There is not a better like 1-2 punch in terms of like Dan Morgan had a great draft and now he had a great free agency market, right? He had a great draft and now he had a great free agency market. And yeah, I mean, it's just so good. It's so good. It's so good. All right. I wanted to watch. Let me see if I can find what I wanted to watch. Let's see if we can find Unnecessary Roughness, our boy, who does really good stuff. It's so good, man. It's so good. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum 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 ba da ba bum 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 ba da bum bum bum.
Months, and there was one clear win. So as
the Carolina Panthers have secured their starting left tackle for 2026. We'll talk about it right here on Locked On Panthers.
You are Locked On Panthers, your daily
every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and yes, of course, Friday, your team every day. That's our motto here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for watching the show here on YouTube and for listening wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. If you joined me earlier today, we were discussing where the Panthers go next at tackle after the signing of Stone Forsythe. Of course, having Taylor Moton back for yet another season and still trying to figure out what they're going to do there at left tackle as Ike Ekwonu recovers from a ruptured patellar tendon suffered back in that January playoff loss against the Rams. And one of the options we discussed was going with a veteran free agent like a Rasheed Walker from the Packers or maybe even Taylor Decker from the Lions, as both of those guys could potentially be available for a one-year deal. Decker because he's been in the league for a decade, he's above 30, and then Walker because of a legal matter he had in New York that we'll talk about here momentarily. And what do you know? This afternoon, Ian Rappaport and Thomas Pelissero of the NFL Network reporting the Panthers have agreed to terms with offensive tackle Rasheed Walker on a one-year deal. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN coming out with the terms of that deal, 1 year with a max value of $10 million, which lets you know that he is going to be the starting left tackle for the season until Ike Ekwonu comes back, which maybe Ike won't be the guy whenever he's ready to go. But Rasheed Walker, 1 year deal worth up to $10 million. Panthers, according to Jeremy Fowler, are getting really good value on a good player. So how do they get this good of value? Well, I mentioned it earlier. We'll go into a little bit more detail about it right now. Rasheed Walker back in January was traveling to New York at LaGuardia Airport, and he was taken into custody and charged of 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon. And
yeah, so the ESPN article talked about this. So apparently he kind of walked into the airport with a gun that was not registered. Not great, but also I don't know that that's, in my opinion, I don't know that that's enough to not like sign the guy. Like that feels a little extreme to me. I don't know. What do I know?
Criminal possession of a firearm. Now, he told someone, an airline employee, that his bag contained a locked box holding a handgun, and the police then told the employee then told the police, and they went and found that he had a gun in his possession. And Walker, who had the gun legally registered and licensed in Wisconsin, didn't realize he couldn't travel with it to New York. So sounds like an honest mistake. Anybody out there, don't have a gun in New York unless you're licensed to have a gun in New York. Same thing like in Boston, those cities.
Yeah, probably not a good idea to do that anywhere, to be quite honest. But yeah. Once again, like Dan Moore got, all of the projections are saying that Dan Moore should have gotten like $28 million. All the projections are saying that Dan Moore should have, that Rasheed Walker should have gotten more money than Dan Moore. That's insanity. To me, that is insanity. Dan Morgan gets him for $10 million on a 1-year deal that doesn't cap them financially going forward. Just insane.
He's in the Northeast, do not play. So Rasheed Walker, it sounds like my bad. Now he's due back in court on March 19th. That is Thursday of next week. The Panthers, as I mentioned earlier, needed to vet the situation, as this was, according to a lot of people out there, the top tackle available on the market. And typically when you're the top tackle available on the market, you get a boatload of money on Monday. You're not having to wait till Friday to sign a 1-year deal worth of $10 million unless you have a pending gun charge against you, which is the case right now. So it seems like if Carolina's making this.
The other thing that's really interesting about this is that Icky, to me, is a better weapon in the rushing game. But by all the numbers, and whether you use like pass, whether you use ESPN or PFFs or whatever you want to use, like it's the metric is, I think, better for Rasheed on pass blocking stuff, and that's really exciting to me. Like that is to not have to, Bryce already is small for his size, so for Bryce to not have to worry about any of this, to me, is a win. It's a plus.
Move that they're not overly concerned about that. And also good for them. They were needing a left tackle. Their current left tackle, Ike Ekwonu, is injured. And now they get the top tackle on the market, according to a lot of people out there, for cheap. And it may only be a 1-year deal. Maybe it'll be something more long-term. I don't know. But it works out for them very much in their favor that Walker was available for this amount of money and that he made that mistake back in January. So moving forward and looking just at his numbers, he started 48 games past 3 seasons in Green Bay. His PFF grade last year is 64.6. Pass blocking was a 70. Run blocking was a 55.4. When you look at the 89 qualifying tackles, his PFF grade was 52nd out of 89 guys. Icky's was 37th last year. Pass blocking, he was 41st out of 89, while Icky was 54th. And when you look at run blocking, 71st out of 89, Icky was 31st. Overall, he allowed 34 pressures, which was less than Icky's 40 last season, and then 5 sacks and 572 pass blocking snaps. He was penalized 9 times last season and 986 total snaps. And when you look at the allowed pressure percentage, it was 6.4%, which ranked 35th out of 58 tackles last season. Stone Forsythe was 57th. Icky, I think, was around in the 40s. So a solid pressure percentage given up last year by Rasheed Walker in his last season with the Green Bay Packers. And you just go back to 2024 and 2023 as he started the last 3 years for Green Bay. His PFF grade was 68.4. And then pass blocking, 79.6, 74.1. Run blocking, 54.1, 57.9. So he's been graded in the 50s all 3 years as a starter when it comes to run blocking, while when it comes to pass blocking, he's been graded in the 70s. And you look at it over the last 3 seasons, comparing both Walker and Ike Ekwonu, Icky has been the higher graded overall tackle. And also when it
there were some people I heard some people yesterday that were saying, "Oh, like this, he's better than Icky." I think we need to calm down on that chat. Like I think we should probably take that down a little bit. I don't actually think Rasheed Walker is better than Icky, especially when it comes to what this team wants to do when we're talking about running the ball. This team is very interested under Dave Canales in running the ball. Now, Brian, it's going to be the same way. Now, there's going to be more explosives, but I'm not sure that I can go on like I'm not sure that I can roll with anybody on like it. That Icky is like essentially done for, and that we're going to extend Walker. I mean, this is a 1-year rental for a reason.
Comes to run blocking, but as far as pass blocking goes, it's been Rasheed Walker well above Icky, much like Icky has been well above Rasheed Walker as a run blocker. And I'm just guessing for a fan base and a crowd that's been saying, move Icky to guard, that y'all would like to have a tackle who grades out better as a pass blocker than a run blocker. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Maybe. I've been wrong plenty of times. I was kind of saying earlier in the week, maybe Stone Forsyth can be the guy. And then I talked to somebody later that evening. They said, no, that's not the case. Also, look out for Rasheed Walker and look out for Taylor Decker. So really hat tip to that person, not necessarily me. I'm just relaying the information I'm giving to y'all on this show. So Icky, he's out. I'm really, really interested to see now when he is ready to go. Hell, if he's ready to go. Because again, there's no guarantee he comes back and plays this season.
Yeah.
And when you're signing someone to a deal worth
So on average, I kind of looked for people that are wondering, on average, we're looking at a 9-month recovery for the Icky injury. That's substantial. Like that's not a short amount of time at all. And it could be longer. It could be a year. I don't think it's going to be shorter than a year, but like it also could be longer as well.
up to $10 million, you're at least letting the incentives be to the point where, hey, if Icky can't play, you got to play the whole season. You play well, here's $10 million. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So that's something that make me really go, as far as Icky and his recovery. Josh Simmons, the rookie from Kansas City last year, ruptured his patellar tendon against when he was at Ohio State. And then 9 months later, he was good to go for training camp. And then he was able to play and start the season. That was 11 months removed from the injury. Icky, if he follows the 9-month recovery period, which Simmons did, where he was able to go out there and practice, that would be middle of October, possibly early November. So this gives Carolina, of course, a starting tackle, a tackle who has graded out as a better pass blocker than the guy you had. And according to a lot of people out there, the top tackle on the market, you get him for 1 year, possibly maximum value, $10 million per season. So
Insane.
What does the depth chart look like right now? And is there a room for another tackle, quite possibly in the draft Carolina later on this offseason? We'll talk about that here in just a moment on Locked On Panthers.
All right. I think we got our like.
You should get life insurance because you never know. My dad has never been in better shape. Lost weight, exercising every day.
Your deal up to.
I think the conversations around this pass rushing, around the tackle class, we need to go back and talk about tackle. Because one of the things that's being said a lot is like, there's no way, right? Like, there's no way we should take a tackle. Y'all know that kind of language is exactly what bad teams do. Bad teams, especially in the first round, like even if you don't want to go BPA for the rest of the draft, once you, for those of you who don't know, BPA, best player available, when you start talking and when you start saying, we have to take a player in the first round, that's how the Cleveland Browns stay the Cleveland Browns. That's how a general manager like Brandon Beane has made so many mistakes in his tenure in Buffalo. That's how all of these really, whatever general manager you think there is, that's how you make mistakes. The whole reason why Dan Morgan and company did this is so that they could set themselves up to get whoever they want to get in the first round. Now, if tackle is there, like if Lomu is there, if Fano is there, Morgan Freeland is going 6 to to the Browns. So like, go ahead and put him. Like, there's no way that you're getting Freeling. I don't love Proctor, but like, if Proctor is there, that's a conversation. I really don't want Proctor, but I mean, it is what it is. But like, I just whoever that guy is for Dan Morgan, that's who you get. Whether it's Thieneman, whether one of these. To me, there's 3 blue chip prospects in this draft. It's Jeremiah Love, number 1. It's Caleb Downs, number 2. My God, Caleb Downs is an absolute menace of a player. Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love, or Sonny Styles. Those are the 3. If any of those 3, like, you don't even think about it. You put them now. I don't think they're going to fall. I know that there's some concerns with Caleb Downs, like medical history. But like, I just don't think that's going to happen. Tony, by the way, Tony Pauline came out with a report. Tony's really good. His intel has been really good in the past. He thinks there's a lot of interests with the Saints taking Washington in the 2nd round, and that Alvin Kamara might get cut when that happens, right? Like, Kellen Moore was essentially asked, hey, like, what's the deal with Alvin Kamara? And he's like, oh, we're just not going to get into it. Like, we're not going to talk about it. So, I mean, I do think it's in the cards, just to be honest and fair. I do think it's in the cards for him not to get signed, for him not to go back to the Saints. So, like, I don't think that's completely outside of the realm of possibility, but we'll just have to see. But this sets you up. Like, this sets this team up to essentially do whatever the hell it wants to do in the 1st round. So I just don't understand. This idea of like, you have to take a tackle, or you definitely don't have to take a tackle. If a tackle is there, whether it's Blake Miller, whether it's the guy from Arizona State that I can never pronounce his last name, Max, right? Whoever your guy is, then you take him. Now, I think this tackle class is weaker than most tackle classes. I don't think this tackle class is as good. I think there's other guys there. I think if Jordan Tyson is there, you take him. The Panthers love Sadiq. Panthers fans love Sadiq. I'm kind of like okay on Sadiq. I think the idea that Sadiq is such a good player we've kind of lost the plot when it comes to that. But I mean, like, I don't know. You have to take whoever the guy is that you want to take in that circumstance. So if Lomu's there, if Fano's there, if they really like Blake Miller from Clemson, even though Carolina's never taken like a player from Clemson, whoever it is, just take the guy. But we've got to get away from this idea of like, there is no way, right? Like, there's no way we would take a tackle because we got Rasheed Walker on a 1-year, $10 million deal. Like, Taylor Moton's probably going to retire at the end of next year, right? Like, Taylor Moton's probably going to retire at the end of next year. And Aki's coming from a disastrous injury. So, like, nothing is... I think people forget how important the tackle position is in the National Football League. People forget how important the tackle position is. And like, we just have to understand that the tackle position is very, very important. And it's incredibly important when you have an undersized player like Bryce Young. When you have an undersized player like Bryce Young, you need your tackle to be a competent tackle. You need your tackle to not be Stone Forsythe, right? Like, you need your tackle to be good. So anyways, those are like, I think we need to calm down on the chatter of like, there's no way we can take a tackle, or there's no way we can take no, that's how bad teams stay bad. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
$10 million. Yes, up to. That means that the base, the part that really counts against the salary cap, is a little bit lower than that. This is a phenomenal deal for what was, by most regards, the #1 rated offensive tackle available in free agency. Now, for the guy that Rasheed Walker is a guy who has played 48 games for the Green Bay Packers over 3 seasons. This guy apparently was projected to get over $20 million.
Also, go follow my man on YouTube. Like, he is one of the GOATs in this space. If I am half as good as he is one day, then I will be happy. Go follow him. He's just phenomenal.
Per year on a multi-year deal comparable to one that Dan Moore got with the Titans last year. Dan Moore didn't perform that well, so it seems like the market really.
Seth Walder from ESPN is saying that he thought that he was going to get a better deal than Dan Moore. That's what he said. And Dan Morgan came in and got him for less than $10 million. I mean, just that is somebody playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. That's how good that is. That's just insane behavior. Insane behavior.
Humboldt Rasheed Walker, and he decided to sign a proven deal with the playoff team like the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers get a 1-year deal for a proven starter at the age of 26 that's super experienced and can fit the bill for that stopgap guy as Ike Ekwonu recovers from his knee injury. He may have sorted out the complications that I mentioned in the previous video, but I'll say the situation is still not finished and there's still some work to be done.
I agree. I 100% agree. And the idea that we have our guy at tackle, that tackle, just because Dan Morgan got a guy that can play and that can potentially start, because he has started with Green Bay. Remember what Brandon Thorne said about this guy. Brandon Thorne specifically said, just so we're clear, this is a complementary piece that can start for your team, but he should not be a foundation piece. That's what he said. He is a complementary piece that should not be a foundation. And he thinks that he would be a great pairing. It would be a great pairing, like a phenomenal pairing with Damian Lewis, because Damian Lewis is a foundation piece. Talk about a guy that can play. Damian Lewis is good, but like, he is not a foundational piece. If you think that Dan Morgan at the end of this year, unless Rasheed Walker finds a way to have like an all-pro season, which is not in the cards for me at least, unless he does something like that, this guy is not getting signed to like a 4-year, $120 million deal or like a 3-year. That's not happening. That is not happening in this market. This is a guy that can come and get you some really good reps. That's why he's there. That's why he's there.
Now, Walker is a legitimate starter, not a placeholder like we were talking about before with Stone Forsythe. Now, he may not be the best offensive tackle in the league. He gave up 5 sacks. He's a lot more praised for his pass protection than his run blocking. The Green Bay Packers actually drafted guys like Morgan and Belton over the past few years to try to really challenge Walker for his spot, but he was able to maintain it. There were points at times where he could have been benched, according to some Packers content creators that I trust, but because of health, Walker stayed in there. He was actually honestly responsible for Jordan Love getting hurt at one point because he got beat on a sack. All that being said, he raises the floor for this room. Not only does he give somebody that has experience and is solid, because if you start that many games in the NFL consecutively, you're not that bad. You may be replacement level and you can be upgraded.
That's a great point. I mean, this guy can play. This guy can start. But once I keep saying it, but he is not a foundational piece. Rasheed Walker is not a foundational piece. He is a complementary piece. And when you pair him with someone like Damian Lewis, that's really good stuff. That's really good stuff. But it is not, this is not, I'm telling you right now, I'll put money down. This guy's not getting extended at the end of this year. He's not. Unless he's willing to take another deal like this, which my guess is that he's not. My guess is that he's hoping that he plays really well so that he gets a Dan Moore-like contract from last year with the Titans. That's what I think is probably going to happen.
But usually when you're that bad of a tackle, they get you out of the lineup. So the fact that he has that much starting experience shows you everything you need to know. He's a former 7th round pick, so the development track that he...
What's that say?
This is for real.
Your debt is completely wiped off.
I'm so
that he's had has been tremendous, but it seems like his issues are technique. According to Brandon Thorne, who's one of the best offensive line writers out there in the game right now, he pretty much points to the fact that if you put Walker in a good environment next to some good quality linemen, he can be a capable starter for you. And putting Damian Lewis, who had his best season of his career, beside him, is going to work wonders because it did the same thing for Ike Mekwonu to help him play better and more consistent. ESPN put out an article with the remaining free agents ranked, and he was one of the top ranked guys. And here was what the blurb about Rasheed Walker said. It said what he brings. He's Walker's pass block win rate of 93.8%, ranked 11th among 68 qualifying offensive tackles. His technique could still improve, and he lacks a strong anchor, but he has the footwork and mobility to match the speed of edge rushers. And talking to some Packers fans, that's kind of the stuff that I heard, that a guy that big should not be giving up as much ground as he does when he gets bull rushed. He's good against decent to lower level talent, but he can get exposed when it comes to some of the elite rushers.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the teams that the Panthers are playing, they're playing quality teams and quality players at left tackle. Like he's going to get exposed in some games. Panthers Twitter are out here talking like he's like the next coming of, I don't know, like the greatest left tackle. He's not that. Okay, he's not that. Let's bring it down to earth. Let's bring it down to earth, fam.
The Carolina Panthers have a lot of elite rushers on their schedule this year, so it will be TBD how he performs. But again, you get a starter level guy with the pass block win rate that high, you have to feel good about the prospects of that, and maybe you can get creative in the run game. And again, working with Damian Lewis can help him mold into a better run blocker. So the 1-year deal buys time and flexibility. Now Ike Ekwonu does not have to rush back from the rehab and feel like the Panthers are just in dire situations, so they need him to come back before he's comfortable. It also allows that draft board and strategy to open up completely. Now the Panthers, outside of nickel and
Thank you. The whole reason, some of y'all are forgetting, the whole reason you do this is so that you don't corner yourself in a spot to have to do something you don't want to do. That's the whole reason you do something like this.
free safety have pretty much answered every major hole in this offseason. Now they're completely set up for best player available at 19. What we thought was they almost had to be a sure locked in tunnel vision for left tackle at 19. Now anything is open, and the Panthers are a true wild card in this draft to take the best player available that can help their team. It removes a lot of desperation from the decision, but it doesn't remove the decision itself. Let's say Walker plays pretty well and Ike comes back. What do you do from there? Let's say that Ike's out the whole year, Walker plays well. Do you pay Walker instead of Ike? Do you try to put Ike in a different position? How do you handle that? Is it become another Rico Dowdle situation where you kind of just go with the hot hand, and if Rasheed Walker plays well, you leave him in, but if he plays bad, then you allow Ike to get his spot back? There's a lot of things that could play out in this situation, but the best part about it is the Carolina Panthers don't have to panic, and they can just sit back and let this play out because of.
I am willing to say this. I think it's important to say that like the Panthers are in such a better situation than they were before this signing. Like before this signing, everybody was freaking out, right? It was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God. The Panthers don't have to do that anymore. The Panthers are good in terms of like, now you have a strategy. Now, does that mean that the Panthers are good at left tackle for the next 5 years? No, of course not. Tackle, especially for somebody like Bryce Young, is so like you need a good left tackle.
The ability of Walker to be at least a solid starter, and again, raise the floor for this offensive line room so it doesn't feel like a complete liability. Although the Panthers should probably lower offensive tackle on their needs list in the draft, I still think they must draft a tackle and a center in general. They need to come out of this draft going best player available, getting 2 starters and 3 contributors, similar to last year. Because yes, spending all this money is good. If you want this growth and success to be sustainable, you have to continue to draft well. And they haven't picked a lineman in this regime in the draft, so this is no time like the present to do it. They have to develop somebody to be the heir apparent to Taylor Moton, but they also need a starting center. Yes, they have Fortner at this point, who is very, very capable and a high floor player as well, but if they can find a center in the draft that they feel like they can develop and also can push.
I will say this. I think Fortner, to me, and PFF came out with an article that talked about this too. You can start with Fortner. Now, once again, against against nose tackles or against defensive tackles that are very, very good, he's going to get exposed. Like, that's just the reality. He's going to get exposed. But to me, Fortner and Forsythe are not like in the same sentence. Fortner raises
for a starting job from the jump, that would be more than ideal because they can get cheap and get long-term controlled salary versus the one-year deals and the band-aids that they're putting on with a guy like Walker. But now let's say the board falls at where you have a good free safety that falls to you. Now you can get somebody there that can slide in and be the starter. Let's say that you want to get Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end. That's a luxury pick that now you put yourself in a position to do. Let's say a stud wide receiver falls to you. I know it sounds crazy to draft 3 in the first round in a row, but Dan Morgan never ruled that out. I think the Carolina Panthers are in a spot where they need difference makers. Last year, they were able to get Tedero McMillan, a difference maker, because they decided to take the best player on the board. And now he looks like he has superstar potential. When you put yourself in a position to go BPA, you don't have to pass on these type of guys with superstar potential just because you know you need maybe a left tackle or a tight end or whatever you think you may need. So this is just a beautiful spot to be in, and I love the work that Dan Morgan has been able to do along with Brant Tillis to be able to get a contract on Rasheed Walker at up to $10 million, which is up to half of what he was projected to be by a lot of the experts. Come on, man. You cooking with fish grease now, man. We really, really doing something. And the Carolina Panthers, if you could give the offseason trophy away, the Panthers have done that. Now they're looking in prime position to try to repeat as NFC South champions on paper. But it's a good start because we've never really had an offseason like this. This may be the best offseason in Panthers history. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but it is what it is. I give this move grade an A-. Dan Morgan went and got his guy, and the narrative was because we could be desperate, whatever, and we couldn't fix this position in free agency, but that's exactly what they did. So I give that move overall an A. The minus is just because the left tackle conversation is still open. There's a lot of question marks, but you definitely solved the issue that was glaring, and the house is no longer on fire.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can be cool, calm, and collective. Sleep a little better at night knowing we got a guy like Rasheed Walker with starting experience. But we'll pay attention to some of the pre-draft process, the 30 visits and the pro days to see how closely the Panthers are evaluating the offensive line. We saw them at Clemson Pro Day with Blake Miller, a guy that's a right tackle but has some left tackle experience. Could he be somebody that they finally draft? And we'll just see how much work do they put into the offensive line pre-draft before things happen, just to see if, hey, maybe tackle is the best player available still at 19, and they make that move.
That's crazy, man. It's Dan Morgan. Just you are that guy. That's all I got to say about that. Like, Dan Morgan, you are that guy. I mean, you're just that guy. You're the guy that just is not afraid of anything, and just a phenomenal get. I did want to show Baldy, and I kind of tweeted about this. Well, I didn't kind of tweet. I did tweet about it. Baldy came out with a really good tweet about this. Also, we need to calm down on Njoku. There's a reason why Njoku got passed by Cleveland. Now, people are saying like, oh, well, he's on his rookie deal. Like, it doesn't really matter if he's on his rookie deal or not. Like, they still passed on him. So I'm not as crazy about signing Njoku, but yeah, like I'm kind of good on that. I'm kind of good on that. Another thing, there was NFL Draft Files, which is like an NFL draft account, was talking about, where are we at? I got too many tabs open here, guys. I'm sorry. Where are we at? Let me make sure y'all can see this. Oh, I'm showing the wrong thing. I'm sorry, guys. Share this tab instead. All right, now y'all can see it, right? They were actually showing NFL, so 2026 NFL mock draft free agency edition, and who they had at 19 was Caleb Banks. I'm kind of good on Caleb. I got to be honest. I don't think he's Shamar Stewart. I don't think. Yeah, I just don't. I don't think he's Shamar Stewart, but I still am like, I'm good on not giving him. I'm good on not getting him. Essentially, I'm not crazy about any of the defensive tackles. Like, I don't want Peter Woods. I don't want Caleb Banks. What other DTs went on here? If I can find it. Caleb Lomu is, they're saying he's an OT. Honestly, one of the guys I really, really, really like is Caden McDonald. Like, if there's any defensive tackle that I would be like, okay, let's consider that, it would probably be him. Like, I really, really like him. I think he has a lot of potential, but he to me is more of a 25 to 28 guy for me. That's kind of where he's at for me. So also Malachi Lawrence is, to me, has one of the most upsides. At the end of this draft season, we might look at Malachi Lawrence and be like, oh yeah, he was the best of that draft class. That's how good to me he is. Like, I love Malachi Lawrence. I think Malachi Lawrence is phenomenal. And I think his game translates really, really well to the NFL. Just saying that. What else? Oh, let's show this.
Signings of free agency was Rasheed Walker to the Carolina Panthers. Here he is in a playoff game, Soldier Field, looking at the ball. All right, got to see the ball and the man at the same time. Austin Booker, no problem with them all game long. All right, very consistent player. Basically started 3 straight years for the Green Bay Packers as a 7th-round pick. Like, he's just conscientious. Just watch him. Looking at the ball, looking at the man. You got to stretch your eyeballs so that you can get this kind of start. All right, now, wait for the contact point. He wants to go inside, flatten him inside. All right, give Jordan Love plenty of time to make the throw. Like, he just knows how to play. That's the thing. Now, with Icky's injury in Carolina, you better have a guy that can line up and start. All right, you want to go defend your division title, you better have your left tackle set. All right, so you watch him right here. Just a consistent player. Knows how to play. Gets his hand, like you watch right here, Booker's going to grab that wrist, all right? That's a problem for a lot of guys. But reset it. Down, up. You better have your left tackle set, all right? So you watch him right here. Just a consistent player.
Look at how when he puts his hand on him, like Walker puts his hand on him and he's like, oh, I need to put it down because I'm about to get got.
Knows how to play. Gets his hand, like you watch right here, Booker's going to grab that wrist, all right? That's a problem for a lot of guys. But reset it. Down, up. Wax on, wax off. There you go. Give up ground grudgingly. Jordan Love can make the throw.
Wax
And then
on,
the run
wax
game
off.
just get to the second level. Good angles up to Tremaine Edmonds here in this playoff loss to the Bears. Good angle. Get on him right here. Tie him up. Let Josh Jacobs do what he's got to do. The Carolina Panthers signing Rasheed Walker, I thought other teams should have made a bid, but he's going to a good spot where he'll probably start the season. And who knows? Maybe he's the starter. One of my favorite signings.
I love Baldy, man. I absolutely love Baldy. Absolutely love Baldy.
Describe your play style. Yeah, shoot. Physical, violent, instinctual. You describe your play style. Yeah, shoot. Physical, violent, instinctual.
This is gonna be so much fun, man. Ringers, one of the Ringers' latest mock drafts had Mekhi Lemon. I'm kind of good. I'm kind of good on Mekhi Lemon. I think he's going to be a good player, but I think the Amon St. Brown comparisons, because they went to USC and they like playing in the slot, I'm kind of good. So here's what Mekhi Lemon does well for me. So Mekhi Lemon, for me, what he does really well is that he's able to essentially, he has, like, his contested catches are phenomenal. Like, he's really good at the contested catch game. I'll give him that. He's really, really good at contested catches. I think the things that he doesn't do, like in traffic, he's going to pull some down. I'm not as worried. I know a lot of fans are worried about his speed. I'm not worried about his speed. The thing that I am more worried about is what happens when you get pressed on one-on-one. When there's a nickel, when you have a DeJean, or when you have like a really good nickel who comes to the box and presses you, he struggles. By the way, Eli Stowers struggles with this too. Everybody's like crazy. It's like, oh my God, Eli's the next Loveland. I think I wouldn't draft And I know people love Eli. I wouldn't draft Eli in the first 2 rounds. First of all, he struggles to block. And sure, do you need to be the best blocker in the modern NFL? Maybe not. But you need to block well enough so that they don't get you out, like so they don't pull you out. So look, I'm kind of like okay. I'm okay on that. I'm just fine, to be quite honest. Other thing that happened is it looks like the Saints are interested in Mike Washington, and they're going to cut Kamara potentially. Yeah, so pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. But yeah, Tony's a really good follow, by the way. Like, y'all should go follow Tony. All right, I've been here for an hour. It's Saturday. I'm not going to try to go too deep today, just because it's the weekend, spend some family time. But thank y'all for coming. I'll see y'all in the next one.